Hey guys, it is time for one of my favorite videos of the year, and that is setup of my new bullet journal. I have watched so many in past few weeks because I enjoy them so much, and now it is time to finally do my own setup. In 2025, I will be using Reverie bullet journal by Mellow Days again, but this time it is this gorgeous burgundy color. I am sure my camera does not do it justice. This has 160 GSM watercolor paper and light brown dots, which I love because you can perfectly see them when working on the layouts or writing on the page, but they also kind of fade in the background and are almost invisible in photos. Let's work on the pocket and the cover page first. And these two pages were actually the last two I worked on. I somehow got intimidated by the whole thing, which is stupid. I, for some unknown reason, put so much pressure on myself. I was actually procrastinating for a long time before finally opening the journal and working on the spreads. I honestly don't know why. It is just a bullet journal in the end. But anyway, for the pocket, I glued the first two pages together around the sides and put this craft grid paper in the background to add some contrast. I still have no idea what to do with the blank section under the flowers, so if you have any ideas, please let me know. In this pocket, I will be storing my grid guide, my 2025 calendar, or anything else I come up with during the year. For the cover, I had no idea what to do for the longest time. That's also why I worked on it last. For some reason, I wanted it to be some elaborate design and whatever, but I am glad I made it much simpler in the end. I printed this frame on the transparent sticker paper, cut it out, glue it on the page, and then I put a bunch of flowers on the inside. And lastly, I glued in the numbers for 2025 and it was done. Honestly, this is nothing near of what I expected to end up with as my cover page, but I still like it. Let's move on to the year at a glance. I just blanked out of how people call this spread, but basically here is the place for noting down everything important happening during the year, no matter how far in advance that might be. I usually use these for birthdays and name days, but I also already have few appointments for 2025, so this will be the perfect place to mark these down. Guys, I have spent weeks thinking about which spreads I want to have in my bullet journal, what order to put them in. I did the full video about pre-planning my journal. I did the sketches and how these pages would look, and then I did the markings on each page for each spread, so it would be easier for me when setting up the spreads. But guess what? Just as I was finally going to work on the setup, I decided to change this spread, the very first one, which meant all of my markings were useless. This spread was meant to use only 2 pages, but I ended up using 6, which meant moving everything 3 spreads or 6 pages down. But you know what? I don't regret this because this has turned out to be my favorite spread of the whole setup. Instead of cramming everything into 2 pages, I now have only 2 months a page, which means I have a lot of space to write. Will I use all of this space? Probably not, but it feels open and inviting to use now. First, I made the Dutch doors by cutting out all 3 sides around the calendar part, and I did that on 2 following pages as well. Instead of cutting out the top and bottom parts completely, I only cut this out from the page in the middle, and then I glued the first page onto the third to have that seamless look without awkward small cutouts that usually remain in the center of the spread, because I am afraid I'd cut out too much and disassemble the journal somehow. Do I make sense? I really hope so. I am sure you can figure everything out from the footage. Anyway, next I did the frame around the whole spread using this beautiful blue, white and gold washi tape from the washi tape shop. It is just so cute and elegant, and as I saw this, I knew this had to be the star of my setup. I will do my best to link everything I used in the description for you guys. I pre-made these little calendars out of the craft dotted paper pad from Archer & Olive, the same one I used for the background of the pocket on the previous side. And I glued them to a page. I lined them up by the same line at the bottom with top part sticking out of the Dutch door, and since they are all different height, which slightly bothers me, they look a bit uneven, but once they are all glued in, you can't see that, thankfully. Lastly, I am adding the second line highlights. I started doing this 2 or 3 months ago, and I can't stop now. There are 2 differently colored sections under each month. One is for, as I said, birthdays and name days. I guess if you are not from Europe, you have no idea what a name day is. It is a tradition where you celebrate a day of the year that is associated with your name. If you look at our calendars, there are always 1 or even more names associated with each day. My birth name is Lenka, so my name day is June 4th. But if you have unconventional name, you're out of luck because your name won't be in there. Or maybe you are lucky. One less thing to think about. Anyway, birthdays and name days, and the bottom part is for the appointments. Honestly, I hope I won't need this part much. I get very stressed about appointments. And guys, I was thinking I could also maybe tell you how much time I spent on each spread, maybe. It looks all quick and easy in the video, but the reality is often so different. This whole bullet journal setup took me many evenings to finish, and I often had no idea what I was doing. So if knowing how much I spent on each page is something you are interested in, I can share the times in each video from now on. Just be sure to let me know. Okay, so this spread, these whole 6 pages, took me more than an hour. 76 minutes, guys. I had to check the footage again because that seems to be way too long, but yeah, it's true. And for the pocket, it was 11 minutes and cover page took 28 minutes, and I honestly have no idea why, because like, what was I doing for 28 minutes with that setup? Anyway, let's continue on monthly highlights. This is the type of spread I never had a need for, but past few months were very eventful for me and my YouTube channel, and that inspired this spread to be here. One of the most amazing things was a collaboration with Jessie Corinne, the queen of bullet journaling, and 18 other awesome journalers in a video about tips for your 2025 bullet journal. Yes, it is linked in the description. So yeah, that would be cool if I had space to write it down in a more visible place than my daily entries. For the decoration, this time I started with the pages from the old book at the top and the bottom of the spread, and then I added a few washi tape flowers all around the spread. I will add more flowers after I glue in all these little rectangles. I prepared one for each month, and they're all 12 by 7 squares big, and honestly I could make them 1 square bigger, but I think it still looks cute. I have a month in the top part of each rectangle, and I was able to squeeze in 6 on each page, and the title goes in the middle because why not? Before I was working on this spread, I opened the stationery advent calendar by Heda from Mochi Bujo, and there was this adorable blue washi tape with text, and it was too perfect to pass on using on this spread. So yeah, I cut small sections of the tape and then cut it lengthwise in 3 tiny sections and put them on top of each rectangle. It made so much difference. And guys, if you are interested in the Mochi Bujo's calendar, I put out a story every single day and I show you what's in there. And I also have it all saved in the highlights so you can check previous days. Anyway, this spread took me 42 minutes. And that includes time I spent pre-cutting flowers from the washi tape, which means I will spend less time on the next one, hopefully. Now let's work on the social trackers. I have always had some version of social tracker in my bullet journals, but this year I wanted something better and bigger. For the decoration, I went with flowers on the sides and then I put the book page on top. I'd love to do this the other way around, so the washi tape would be on top of the text, but it is a washi tape, which means it is slightly see-through. If I opted for the PET version of this design, it would be possible and I am sure it would look stunning. But since I knew I would need to spend forever cutting out these designs, I went with washi tape because it is, in my opinion, less fiddly and easier to take the backing off. I divided the spread into quarters, despite having only 3 social media to track, but 4 same sections look great, and I had no idea how to divide this into 3 sections. Each section is divided into 12 months, and I will track here the number of subscribers at the first and last day of each month, and then I will note the change. I know the amount of subscribers is nothing I can influence, but I do this mostly for fun and for the tough times when I feel like there is no point in doing this. I can flip here and see how far I have come, or even better, I can look in older journals and see that I have indeed come a long way in these 4 years. And yes, in January it will be full 4 years of me running this YouTube channel. It is unbelievable. I am once again steering off the topic here. Anyway, under all of the months, I have a section for January 1st subscriber count and December 31st subscriber count, and a place to note down the change over the year. On the left page, I have the YouTube tracker, and on the right one is Instagram and Pinterest. I am not overly invested in this, but I think it will still be fun to see the numbers. I love statistics if you have not figured it out yet. Pinterest is slightly different though, because you get monthly statistics that are separate from previous months, so I can't really track my growth from month to month. Instead, here I have a space to track engagements, total audience and saves. This made the most sense to me, but I am confused by Pinterest stats, so I kind of have no idea what I am doing with this. There is 1 quarter blank on the left side, and that will be a place to write down any milestones. And I usually do that by marking down the day I reach 100 more subscribers on YouTube. So this spread took me 38 minutes, and I am getting slightly quicker, but not really, because next is the most time-consuming spread of this setup. This video planning and schedule spread for the whole year took me a whopping 97 minutes to make. Yep. I was faffing around with it so much, and that is only time I spent actively working on it, as you see in the video. I have spent so much time planning these spreads, and I am thankful I did not track the time, because that would be... I don't really want to know. I have made a baby 3-month version of this in my November bullet journal, which was a good idea because I was able to figure out what works, what does not work, and what needs to be added. Once again, I am doing the Dutch door spread, and this time I remembered I needed to fully cut only the middle page, and then I glued the first and last page together. One thing that did not work out well with this spread is that this journal sometimes has the pages not aligning correctly. I think it's usually the problem between different signatures, so I was left with a bit of a dilemma here. The first page of this tracker was slightly off comparing to the other pages. I could either move this tracker a spread over, where the pages would be aligned again, or deal with this somehow. So I did deal with this somehow by recreating the first line of every single page on every single page. I was planning to have these written only once, respectively twice, once on first and last page, and then have the cutout pages aligned, but that was not an option here. The first page is also peeking to the sides, but I don't really mind that. I did not put the black border on sides on the following pages, so the sides would kind of blend into each other, and I think it worked. I once again have no idea if you can understand what I am babbling about, but hopefully the footage will provide enough information. If not, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will try to form coherent answers. I was trying to do the decoration slightly different on each spread, so this time we have flowers as the main decoration on top, and I used book pages and flowers more sparingly around the sides and at the bottom. Okay guys, so this tracker is a lot to explain and I am very excited about it. I am releasing a video every Sunday, so I wanted a space to track which day what gets released and also how far I am with the process. I made a few columns in here, and from the left we have a space for a month, and each month is sectioned into 4 or 5 parts depending on how many Sundays are there in the month. Then I have a section for the title of the video, and after that there is a bunch of badly doodled icons for different stages of working on each video, and this will get checked off after I finish each task. The first icon is here for when I finalize the idea, or I do rough layouts in the journal, or I pre-plan something, stuff like that. Then we have small camera doodle for filming, page for writing the voiceover if needed, microphone for recording the voiceover, scissors for editing, and then we have thumbnail for when I finish with both thumbnail and the video description. And the last one is to note in which video I can replace the end screen videos. That is the basic structure, but how will I figure out which video to post when? And what about the list of the videos I'd like to work on? And what if I plan my videos but then something time sensitive comes to my mind and I'd want to make video for that, which means I'd have to move stuff around? Well, this is where the sticky notes come into play. The plan is I will write down the video ideas on sticky notes, which means I can move them around and I don't need to commit to a certain date. And when I will be sure the video will be released on a certain date, I will write it in the journal then. For example, I am pretty sure my February plan with me will be up the last Sunday of January, so I can write it down here. I am also playing with an idea of using certain colors for a certain type of videos. So maybe blue for bullet journal setup videos, beige for reading journal updates, creams for flip-throughs, and any special / once in the year content, and so on. That way I can make sure I won't have the same style of videos back to back. This planning and schedule spread was not my idea, but I was inspired by a random vlog by Dr. Otto Kano where she showed her planning spreads, and I only modified this to match my style of keeping track. Her video is of course linked in the description. I think this might work well for me, and I am so glad I kept a screenshot from a few years ago and I was able to make this now. It only remains to be seen if it works, and I am really excited to try. Next is the waiting for spread. This is a space for me to track my online orders, and at first I was going to have only list of orders with space to check if I received the order, but one of you blew my mind with the suggestion, and of course I had to do it. I now have not only space to check if the order arrived, but also space to write down the date I ordered, the date they shipped, and date the package arrived. This might look unnecessary, but the amount of times I had to go hunt down in my emails how long something took to arrive is unbelievable. So this way I will be able to find the information quickly. Also, I am in Central Europe and packages sometimes take a long time to arrive. And I mean a long time. So it will be nice to have a reminder to check if something is missing and take the action if it is. I went once again with Dutch door layout because I don't have a faith in myself anymore, and I know I will keep buying stuff. Also, this space should be enough for the whole year, and nothing happens if I won't use it up. This was the spread I was hoping would not take me a long time, but for some reason I struggled so much. Some lines, as you can surely see, are really wonky. I had to redo the writing few times. I was not feeling okay apparently, and this took me 48 minutes. I guess it had to do with being quite tired from work and spending every single evening during the week on this setup, but I am not regretting it. Just few more pages, guys. Next, I have a simple spread for tracking what I watch in 2025. Movies or series, whatever. Again, with decoration all around the page and a table in the center. I don't want to put pressure on myself in terms of reviews and stuff like that, so I did not put the space for a rating this time, but I have a section for notes, so if I want to, I can rate the movie there. And this took 28 minutes. That was quick compared to other times, and it is so nice to see a lower number finally. Now we have a wish list and then and again. First, I am putting the washi tape in the middle. I have not done that yet. And then I put a very thin strip of book pages on the sides just so they would not be empty. On the right side, I have There and Again page, which was inspired by Jessie Corinne. I have not figured out what I want to have here, so it will remain blank for now. And I feel this in one of my future journaling vlogs, I think. So the idea is you write a little prompts like last movie or a favorite meal or something like this, anything really, and you fill this in on January 1st and then once again at the end of the year. I thought it was a fun thing to include in my journal, so yeah, I have it here and I still need to do some brainstorming on this one. On the left, I have a simple wish list, 2 columns, second line highlights and a space to check if I got it. I love these dot markers because they make it so quick and easy. This tracker is here mainly because every single time someone asks me what I want, my mind goes blank. I am sure many of us have the same problem, right? These 2 pages together took 18 minutes. And now we have one last quick thing to work on, and that is the master to-do list. And for that I need a blank page cut out from the journal. So I used the last page of this one. And then I put the most simple decoration in this whole setup. Just a piece of washi tape and the title on top. And it looks so good. Should have done it during the setup as well, but it's a bit late for that now. Anyway, master to-do list is for me a space to write stuff that needs to get done, but it does not have any due date. Something like, I want to go through my clothes and donate the ones I don't wear anymore, or deep clean kitchen. All of the tasks that are constantly at the back of my mind that need to get done someday. And the reason I cut the page out is because I want to attach this on the inside cover. And it can be flipped out so I can see it from any point in my bullet journal. I did this, I think, 3 or 4 years ago in one of my first bullet journals, and I have no idea why I have not done this since. It is functional and cute, and I love it. This took sweet 12 minutes. And that's it, guys. These are all the pages for my 2025 bullet journal. After finishing this setup, I went over everything once again and I added some butterfly stickers and more washi tape to fill in some awkward spaces, and yeah, it's all done. Finally, I have almost 7 hours of footage. That's crazy. And I have even more planned for my 2025 reading journal, which will be another beast to tackle. Let's do a flip through so we can see all the pages. Here is my cover page and the pocket. Honestly, this is probably my least favorite spread out of the whole setup, but I still like it. In the pocket I have my calendar and grid guide. I have no idea why I made it yellow, but yeah, it's done and it's here. I still have no idea what to do with this. Maybe I could just put some quote in there. I am not sure yet. Next we have Year at a Glance, and this is my favorite. Look at all these gold details on the washi tape. Oh, it's so pretty. And thankfully you can barely see, each square is completely different because they somehow blend into each other, which I am really happy about. Here is the space for noting down all the birthdays and name days, and here is the space for all the appointments. Now we have monthly highlights. I can't wait to fill in those spaces every month. Maybe I could add something more in here. I don't know, it's the maximalist in me talking, but I think it turned out really cute. Now we have social tracker. I love this little bird in here. I added some dot stickers and they are only here because I used up all of my blue dot stickers. I want to figure out something for this blank space, but knowing myself, I probably won't. So these are social trackers for YouTube, Instagram and Pinterest. Now this is something I am most proud of. The video planning and schedule spread. I think it's absolutely stunning despite taking me almost 2 hours to make. I have here space to plan all my videos from January of 2025 to February 2026, which is insane. But coming November, December, I usually want to plan out my videos in advance, especially because there are bullet journal and reading journal setups to come and then flip throughs to come. So I like to have my calendar set up for more than December, and this worked out perfectly. And I think this is perfect idea. I love the functionality and possibilities, and I can maybe just have like a bunch of sticky notes and like juggle all the videos. This will be fun. Okay, and now we have waiting for spread for all of my online orders, and there is, I think, enough space for the whole year. Hopefully. I think it is way better than just having a list of things I bought. Now the watching spread is very similar than the previous one, and I have used only 2 pages for this because lately I am not watching that much. I am reading a lot, but I am not watching much, so I think these 2 pages will be just enough. And here I have wish list, and then and again that I still have to work on some more. I love this washi tape down the middle. I think it turned out really cute. Okay, and the cherry on top is the flippable master to-do list. I really like how this looks. This is my 2025 bullet journal setup. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you are keeping bullet journal or something else or nothing at all. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to see more bullet journal related videos, here are some of my favorites. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.